Hello, my name is Rajita Joshi, and this is my mini documentary on the font Times New Roman. Times New Roman was designed by British typographer Stanley Morrison and his assistant Victor Lardent in 1931. The font was commissioned by Times newspaper, which was looking for a new, more legible typeface to replace its outdated and cramped typesetting. Morrison and Lardent designed the font to be more economical and efficient while still retaining the classic elegance of traditional serif typeface. The font was first used by the Times in 1932 and became widely adopted for printed materials. The font was an instant success and quickly became popular for a wide range of applications, including books, newspapers, and digital media. Today, Times New Roman remains the one of the most widely used typefaces in the world. Type classification and type families. The letter of Times New Roman have serifs, which are small lines or flourishes at the end of the stroke and make up the letters. This gives us the font a classic and traditional look, making it well suited for printed materials that aim to convey a sense of elegance, history, and seriousness. It is classified as a transitional serif, that is a type of classification that bridges the gap between old style serifs and modern serifs. Transitional serifs are categorized by their sharper, more defined edges and high contrast between thick and thin strokes. Comparing with neighbors. When compared to its neighbors, Times New Roman is most commonly compared to serif fonts such as Georgia, Garamond, and Baskerville. Georgia, a popular serif font that is similar to Times New Roman in terms of legibility and elegance but has slightly heavier stroke weight and more pronounced difference between thick and thin strokes. Garamond is a classic serif font and is considered to be one of the oldest and most elegant style typeface. It has more refined, delicate appearance compared to Times New Roman and is often used in printed materials that require a more sophisticated and traditional look. Baskerville is a serif font that is designed in 18th century by John Baskerville. It is a transitional serif font just like Times New Roman and has more refined and elegant appearance. Ultimately, it's the choice of time. Choi- the choice between Times New Roman and related typefaces will depend on specific needs of the design project and the look and feel that designer is trying to achieve. Categorization. The X here in we can see in this picture the X height and the cap height of Times New Roman features an average hex height for serif typefaces smaller than Georgia. The cap height is also standard when compared to other serif typefaces of the style due to the primarily print purpose. Counters. Times New Roman make use of flash counters that help with legibility, especially in low quality newspaper prints. Ancestors and ascenders rise above the cap height to further differentiate the capital letters from the lowercase letter forms. Looking at the T and H in the, we can exactly see that serifs Times New Roman make use of sharp brackets, finals, and links. These the lowercase g also features an ear and a loop, as well as help to differentiate from other serif fonts. Tracking. Times New Roman's tracking or space between each letter is narrow, which allows more characters to fit on a line of paper compared to other fonts. Here are Times New Roman's italic font, which make use of different letter form, especially on the F, which has a descender that isn't featured on regular fonts. And in bold font, it is about the double the width of characters. The tracking is also narrower than most bold serif font faces, which helps to differentiate in print. Why has Times New Roman been so successful? The reason why Times New Roman has been widely successful in the world is that because it is suitable for newspaper. The Times New Roman is not grand and open, decent and full style, but it is a magic weapon to save money for print machines. It is narrow, paranoid, and mean, which means that it pays more attention to practical use and does not follow the luxury route. Since the advent of Times New Roman, each edition of newspaper can print more pages, but it does not seem to be crowded. It saves space and makes use of money. It is really easy to read and economical. Times New Roman expansion has not stopped on paper, but it is used in daily newspapers and etc. In the decades since typesetting devices have evolved, Times New Roman has always been the first font available on each device, including personal computers. Despite of traditional appearances, Times New Roman is widely used font in modern design and commonly used for printed materials such as books, newspaper, academic papers. Times New Roman also became a default font for legal profession, with most legal documents being written in Times New Roman, not just so because they had to, but because they ease of use and familiarity. Times New Roman became popular due to its widespread use in publishing industry. This was due to several factors such as licensing, Microsoft Office, and readability. Several brands use Times New Roman in their logos, including Tiffany and Co., Times Magazine, and HSBC Bank. In 1969, Coca-Cola also incorporated the font in one of their advertisements. Why did I choose Times New Roman for my mini documentary? I chose Times New Roman, but the main reason to choose Times New Roman for my mini documentary is like I wondered how often I had to use it for school and work. Every professor always asked asked us to use Times New Roman as a document form. This led me to be more curious on how Times New Roman was created and why it became so widespread. I see Times New Roman so often, which always made me curious of this font and to explore more about it. Also, thank you for watching, and if you like my documentary, please comment and share your views on Times New Roman. And here are some references that he used while making this documentary. Thank you.